Hi everyone, welcome to Vinyasa Flow. My name is Michelle Chua. Please grab your 2 blocks, your strap, and your blanket, and let's begin in some variation of Hero's Pose. So Hero's Pose is coming down to your shins, pointing the knees forward, no wider than hips width apart, toes are pointed back. And if you're needing support for your knees, you can either take a folded blanket and place it right up against the backs of your knees like this. The thicker it is, the more support you're giving your knees to bend less. Or you can use 1 block or 2 blocks and create a stool out of it by placing it right between your ankles and then sitting on top. And then as you come to sit, take a moment to arrive in your practice. Visually orient yourself to the colors and textures of your room, the space that you're practicing in, by looking around, taking it in. Orient yourself to the surface below your body as you begin to maybe shift your weight around and start to feel the 4 points at the bottom of your pelvis, the back, the pubic bone, the front, the tailbone, the front, the pubic bone, and then the left and the right sitting bones. More evenly distributing your weight through those 4 points. Begin to draw energy up your spine, lifting through each vertebra, lifting through the back of your skull. And as you place your hands in your lap, let's take a deep inhale and rotate the shoulder bones forward and up. Big sigh through the mouth as you release the shoulder heads back and down. Try that a few more times on your own. Really feel that action of rolling the shoulders back and down, as that's going to be part of what we integrate in our back bends, part of the practice of back bends. We had a request for fish pose. Hold me accountable to that towards the end. And we'll play with Urdhva Dhanurasana today, upward facing bow. But now in the energetic sense, we continue the practice of not only opening our hearts, but finding a sense of balance of energy flow through it. Because if we just have the sort of like heart open without boundaries, that's not necessarily healthy too. So balancing the energy of the heart requires some perspective. And what I'd like to bring to mind is the mindful practice of equanimity. So according to Pema Chodron, mindfulness teacher, in her book, by practicing loving kindness, compassion, and rejoicing, we are training in thinking bigger, in opening up as wholeheartedly as we can. We are cultivating the unbiased state of equanimity. Without this fourth boundless quality, the other 3 are limited by our habit of liking and disliking, accepting and rejecting. You might recall the root causes of suffering that yoga philosophy explains as kleshas in Sanskrit. And 2 of those main causes of suffering was aversion, running away from, avoiding, resisting, suppressing what we don't like. And the opposite, clinging to what we want, clinging to pleasure, attaching. So this push and pull dynamic is often what can throw us off balance. And so equanimity is learning to let go of the 2 and finding that sense of inner mental balance. And so she says, training in equanimity is learning to open the door to all, welcoming all beings, inviting life to come visit. Of course, as certain guests arrive, as you might remember in that Rumi quote, we'll feel fear and aversion. We allow ourselves to open the door just a crack if that's all we can presently do, and we allow ourselves to shut the door when necessary. Boundaries, healthy boundaries. Cultivating equanimity is a work in progress. We aspire to spend our lives training in the loving kindness and courage that it takes to receive whatever appears: sickness, health, poverty, wealth, sorrow, and joy. We welcome and get to know them all. Equanimity is bigger. It's a bigger perspective. It's the vast mind that doesn't narrow reality into for or against, liking or disliking. The weather is the weather. Can we appreciate it as it comes? 90 degrees, here it is. Wonderful. 50 degrees, here it is. Wonderful. Can we let go of the need to judge as an instinct? So touching in with a place where we feel equanimity, we can then formally train in cultivating it. So how might we cultivate equanimity in our asana practice, the physical practice of yoga? Well, we start with the breath. And as we train ourselves to be conscious of the breath, we can be in the present moment where breath is happening, but also we can regulate the breath skillfully, keeping a slow, balanced, mindful breath allows the body to follow suit, even in moments of challenge. And then we can affect our own mind state as well into opening up to what's here as it is, without having to run away or push or pull, but being with it. Let's practice. Maybe join your palms to meet at your heart as you sit up tall. Clarify an intent for your being here right now. And I'd like to invite you into Tonglen. We've been practicing that for the past couple of classes. This idea of observing any point of discomfort or suffering that you might be experiencing or have recently experienced, and then calling to mind someone else that might have a similar suffering or discomfort, whether you know them closely or you've seen a documentary about a group of people. And as you call in relief to yourself for that particular area of suffering, call in relief to that other person too. In this way, sort of dedicating our efforts to them. Another practice of compassion. Take a deep inhale, filling up your lungs, filling up your belly. Exhale any stagnant energy through the mouth. And let's chant together 3 ohms. Take another breath in. Towards your heart space. And let's start to regulate our breathing through Ujjayi Pranayama, closing the lips, sustaining the breath evenly in and out through the nose, while softly narrowing the back of your throat to gently whisper the breath and listen to it. Know that you can slow down your body, take a different variation than I offer as you might need to continue to regulate this breath into a state of calm, using it as a tool for practicing equanimity. And with that, let's come down onto hands and knees. Place your blocks to frame the top of your mat and your strap off to the side, and then spreading your fingers on the ground, shoulders over wrists. Step your knees a couple inches behind your hips. Feet hips width apart, tuck your toes, lift your hips back, entering downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here to shift your body around as you might need. Maybe pedaling your feet in place slowly, warming up the backs of your legs. Maybe swiveling your hips left and right, stretching into the sides of your waist and lower back. Perhaps softly shaking your head, nodding your head, and helping to relax your neck. Then begin to broaden across your shoulders by rotating your outer upper arms towards the ground. As you drop your head freely, soften the back of your neck and lift your shoulder blades onto your back ribs. Feel free to bend your knees any amount so that you can feel the fullest length of your spine without rounding your back or causing strain. And now steady your gaze onto one spot, taking another 3 slow breaths. As you firm in your belly, inhale, glide forward into the top of a push-up plank pose, stacking your shoulders right above your wrists. Lower your knees under your hips if you need more support. Otherwise, with legs straight, firm your inner heels back and activate your quadriceps. Gaze at the floor about a foot ahead of your thumbs, and let's take another 3 breaths, continuing to rotate your outer upper arms towards the back wall to spread the shoulder blades apart, and lift your navel towards your back. With an exhalation, shift your weight forward, keeping the arms straight until you can no longer. Then graze your bent elbows by your side ribs through Chaturanga Dandasana. Carefully lower your belly and legs to the ground. Pressing every toenail into the floor so firmly, lift your knees off the floor, but the pubic bone stays on the ground. Take a look at your wrists and step them alongside your floating ribs. See that your elbows are bent directly above your wrists. Hug your elbows close to your side ribs, helping to broaden your collarbones apart. As you keep firming down through the tops of your feet, inhale, roll your shoulder bones back, drop the shoulder blades down, and gently lift your chest, looking forward on the ground. Baby cobra pose. Take 3 breaths here. As you stay here, lift your hands to hover 1 inch off the ground and keep coiling your chest up. Feel the muscles in your back doing most of your back bend. Then lightly land the palms and draw your sternum forward. Press the shoulder blades further down your back. Exhale, lower your forehead to the ground. Then inhale, roll the shoulders back 1 more time. Cobra pose or Bhujangasana, maybe coming up a little higher. Make sure your back is doing most of the work, not so much the hands. Keep grounding your toenails. Then press down through hands and knees or tuck your toes and engage your belly to lift through plank. Then downward facing dog. Let's take 3 deep breaths. Let your body be still. As you breathe in, lift your right leg behind you from the inseam, keeping your 2 hips leveled. Flex your right foot. As you breathe out, imagine your right heel will trying to touch your right glute. Bend your right knee and imagine you're painting your right knee up your back wall towards the ceiling. Inhale here, press to your hands and hugging the front ribs, begin to look forward and up like a scorpion tail. The right leg stays lifted. Now exhale, contract your lower abdomen. Slowly pull in the right knee towards your nose. Shift into plank pose and very lightly step the right foot beside your right thumb. Come high onto your fingertips in a high lunge. With feet hips distance apart, stack your right knee directly on top of your right heel, but not forward of it. Feel free to place your hands on blocks here if it allows your shoulders more space away from your neck. Take a deep inhale, broadening your collarbones. As you exhale, keep your feet where they are and begin to straighten your front leg by scissoring the right outer hip back. Doesn't have to be completely straight. Bowing forward with a flat back from in your belly. Let's flow in and out of this pose. Inhale, rebend your front knee to a high lunge. Exhale, scissor your right hip back, holding pyramid pose. 3 more times. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, high lunge. Lower your back knee to the floor. Keep your hands down and activate your legs by imagining you're dragging them towards each other. Don't visibly move them, but activate the muscles in the legs and root down through the right foot. Now press your hands into the top of your right thigh near your hip crease and lift your torso upright as you actively press downward through both feet and your 2 palms. Stretching your spine up, lifting your frontal hip bones slightly towards your lowest front ribs and anchoring your tailbone downward as you lift through the crown. Check in with your breathing. Now as this right outer hip continues to slightly scissor back, keep your 2 frontal hip bones facing forward. And if your balance feels pretty stable, I invite you to backstroke your arms and place your palms onto your lower back, fingertips face down like camel pose. Imagine you have a softball right between your elbows that you're squeezing with your elbows, and use that to broaden your chest. Imagine the area right under your scapula, your shoulder blades. Begin to contract the back there to coil your chest up. Keep lifting your frontal hip bones, drawing your tailbone down, and let's take another 3 breaths in this variation of Anjaneyasana. As you're starting to look up, remember to lengthen the back of your neck and to relax your eyes. Contract your belly, slowly lift your spine upright, and place your hands on the floor. Step back into your plank pose for 3 breaths. Lifting your navel, spreading the shoulder blades down your back. 1 more in-breath. As you exhale, shift forward as far as you can, high on your tiptoes if your legs are straight, before bending your elbows to point back, entering 90-degree bend in Chaturanga Dandasana. Either lower to the floor or flip the toes there and coil the chest in upward facing dog. Inhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths. Mentally scanning your body here. Is there any area tensing from mentally focusing? Soften the jaw, soften the back of the neck. Then keeping your 2 hips leveled, raise your left leg on an inhale from the inner thigh. Exhale like a scorpion tail, bend your left knee, bringing your left heel closer to the glute. Inhale here, press through both hands, hug in the front ribs, and imagine left knee is painting up the back wall towards the ceiling. Exhale, scoop in the belly, slowly bring left knee towards your nose, rounding into plank. With control, softly step the left foot beside your left thumb. Entering high lunge, fingertips on the floor or on blocks. Separate your feet hips distance. Stack your front knee right over the heel. Take a deep inhale here. Keep your feet where they are. Exhale, scissor your left hip back. Straightening your left leg, bow with a flat back. Inhale, rebend, front knee, high lunge. Exhale, straighten the front leg, pyramid pose. 3 more times to your breath. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Return to your lunge and set your back knee on the ground. Keep your hands down and activate your legs as if you're scissoring them towards each other. Root to your left foot and press your palms onto the top of your left thigh towards the crease of your hip. Keep pressing downward to lift upward to your spine, slightly lifting your frontal hip bones. Anchor your tailbone down. Keep your hands here or explore backstroking your arms, landing your palms on your lower back with your fingertips face down. There, squeeze an imaginary softball between your elbows to keep broadening your chest. And right beneath your shoulder blades, coil your chest up, taking another 3 breaths. Lengthen the back of your neck. Start to lift your spine upright. Step back to plank pose, top of a push-up. This time, take one inhale to solidify a long center line, a flat back. Exhale, forward and down, chaturanga. Choose cobra or upward facing dog. Drawing your shoulder heads back, broaden your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog for 3 breaths. Listen in. Finish your 3rd exhale as you're looking forward. Then walk or lightly float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Let your feet come together to touch. Then inhale, press the ground, your blocks or your legs. Stretch the crown of your head forward to a flat back. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Inhale, press through your feet. Circle your arms apart and rise to stand. Watch your palms meet at the top in prayer. And as though blessing yourself, trace your hands down your center line. Tadasana, mountain pose. Let's flow through 3 rounds of sun salutation C. B. 1 breath each movement. Feet together touching, knees together touching. Inhale, sit into chair pose. Exhale, bow over your legs. Press with your fingertips. Inhale, raise your crown forward to a flat back. Walk into plank and lower, or exhaling, float to chaturanga dandasana. Choose cobra or upward dog as you breathe in. Draw the shoulder bones back. Exhale, lift your hips to downward dog. Keeping the hips leveled. Inhale, raise your right leg from the inseam. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb. So feet are hips width apart. Spin the back heel down. Face forward, inhale, rise up into warrior 1. Exhale from plank into chaturanga. Take it through your vinyasa. And when you arrive at downward dog, side 2. Inhale, raise your left leg from the inseam. Exhale, step the foot beside your left thumb. With feet hips width apart, spin the back heel down. Face forward, inhale, rise to warrior 1. Exhale from plank, lower into your vinyasa. Slow, mindful movements to mindful breath. Notice how you feel. Let's pause for 3 breaths in downward dog. After your 3rd exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, forward fold. Press your legs to the ground. Inhale, half forward fold, lift your heart. Exhale again, forward fold. Knees together 2. Inhale, sit back in chair. Exhale, rise tall in mountain pose. Continuing more cycles of Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale, step back or float back to Chaturanga Dandasana, four-limb staff pose. Inhale, Bhujangasana or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale the foot forward. Back heel down. Inhale, rise, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower. Take your vinyasa. Remember that vinyasa translates as to place in a special way. Side 2. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale the foot beside left thumb, back heel down. Inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale into your vinyasa or none. Choose as you go, listening to your body. When you arrive again at Adho Mukha Svanasana, take 3 deep breaths, listening to the whisper of Ujjayi. Practicing equanimity through your breath. After the 3rd exhale, walk or float to the top of your mat. Arrive in Uttanasana, forward fold. Then inhale, press with your fingertips, lift forward in Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Again, exhale, Uttanasana. Feet together, knees together. Inhale, sit in Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, rise in Padasana, hands together in mountain pose. Last round, Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step or float into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Bhujangasana or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale through your vinyasa. Aware of what comes and goes. Finding inner balance with your breath. Side 2. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, vinyasa or none. Then 3 breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. After your 3rd exhale, walk or float to the top. Feet together there. Inhale, lift your heart forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, feet together, knees together, back, Utkatasana. Exhale, imagine a wall behind your pelvis, sliding against it. Come to sit into boat pose, Navasana. Lifting your feet together, you can catch hold of the backs of your thighs as you kick the legs forward. You can extend the arms forward. You could straighten the legs. Let's take 5 more breaths. Regulate your breathing. Steady your eyes and focus. Call to mind your intention. Inhale. Exhale 4. Inhale. Exhale 3. Notice the difference a smile makes. Inhale. Exhale 2. That's such an important practice that Thich Nhat Hanh taught. Inhale, smiling while meditating. Exhale, set your feet on the ground. And then place your hands behind you so that your hands are flat, your fingertips are pointing at the back of your mat. We're going to create an inverted tabletop position. So take a look at your feet, make sure they're parallel, their hips width apart. I'm going to demonstrate first. We're going to lift up the pelvis and stretch the thigh bones forward until your knees land directly above your ankles and your shoulders directly above your wrists. And then you can gently tilt the head back while still lengthening the back of your neck. So give it a try and take more or less 5 breaths in tabletop, inverted tabletop, before you're lowered to sit again. So it requires actively stretching your tailbone forward towards the space between your knees and actively pressing down with the 4 corners of each foot, not splaying out the legs, keeping them parallel. When you come down to sit, interlace your fingers, drop your knees open, let the feet come together, Baddha Konasana, and have a loose interlacing of your fingers so that you can gently do a little break dance, move, circle around your wrists, maybe even gently turn your head, loosen your neck, maybe even flutter the lips. Release any stuckness around the shoulder blades. Dance out the upper body. A couple more breaths. So we're going to try one more inverted tabletop with the option to move into Parsvottanasana, which is basically an inverted plank pose. I'll demonstrate Parsvottanasana first. That's done with feet together, soles of the feet flat on the floor. And you can turn your hands the opposite direction this time so the fingertips are facing your glutes, just to get a different stretch in your wrists. And then when we lift up, you'll walk the feet forward with the soles of the feet flat on the floor until the legs are straight. And you got to really contract your hamstrings to lift the pelvis, draw the shoulder blades down your back, lengthen the neck as you're looking up. So take your choice if you want to keep your knees bent like we just did earlier, or if you want to walk the feet forward, keep them together, legs straight, soles of the feet flat on the floor. Take about 5 breaths, more or less. Notice what comes up for you as you do this. Physically, breath-wise, mentally. And can you see it, but still find that inner state of balance as you regulate your breathing. Not falling into the push or pull of like or dislike, but being with whatever is as it is, knowing it's impermanent. Then when you come down to sit, make some fists out of your hands, give yourself a fist bump, and let's come down to our knees and place the backs of our hands on the floor, about a foot in front of your knees, flaring your elbows apart. Slowly shift your weight forward, just to the amount of intensity you want to feel that outer wrist stretch. And let's take a few breaths, maybe moving your skull gently, relaxing your neck, your jaw, maybe making some silly faces, or lion's breath. And then coming back to slow and steady, gently whispering breaths through the nose, Ujjayi. And as you come back to sit, let's take a block. And by the skinniest width, step the feet on the floor, hug the block between your thighs, close to your knees. And now as you step the feet apart, as wide apart as your knees, parallel your feet, And so come to lie down on your back. You can do that slowly if you want to activate your core muscles a little more strongly. Palms facing forward, arms straight ahead as you lower. Or you can just come down to your back. Once you come down with the head on the floor, bring your arms down by your sides and walk your feet towards your hands until you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite. Just almost. Now we're going to take a variation of bridge pose that will use the arms of upward facing bow. Little by little, we'll add on more of the steps of upward facing bow, and you can decide up to what step your body's ready for and just stay there. So this first round of 3, extend your arms towards the ceiling. Start with palms facing each other. Draw your shoulder blades down your back, lengthen your neck. Then rotate your triceps, your outer upper arms, towards the front of the room, broadening the shoulder blades apart like we've been doing, especially in downward dog. Bend your elbows towards the ceiling. Keep them no wider apart than your shoulders distance. Flex your hands at the wrists until your fingertips touch the floor alongside your ears. Stay here or flatten the palms all the way to the ground alongside your ears. Take a look at your elbows again. Be careful not to splay them wider apart than your shoulders distance. Keep sending the shoulder blades down your back. You might slightly turn out the fingertips. And as you take a deep in breath, chin tilted back, lift your pelvis off the floor, keeping your arms like this in bridge pose for 5 breaths. As your feet stay grounded, don't move them, but imagine that you're dragging your heels towards your glutes in order to feel your hamstrings activate. As you do that, stretch the fronts of your thigh bones towards the front of the room, opening up your hip flexors. As you do that, spin your inner thighs slightly towards the floor without moving your feet to broaden your sacrum. When you're ready to come down, use an exhalation. Slowly lower your upper back, middle back, tailbone last. And when your pelvis meets the floor, release your hands, maybe give your arms a shake, anything to just relax the wrists. Take 3 breaths here. All right, so if that's as far as your body is saying, that's where I'll go for upward bow today, feel free to stay there. I'll walk you through that step and add on. The root down to your feet, hug the block. Flip your wrists so the palms face down alongside your ears. Slightly turn out the fingertips, and that will help you keep your elbows from splaying wider apart than shoulders distance. Draw the shoulder blades down your back, tilt your chin slightly away from your chest to open your throat. Inhale, root down through your feet and lift your pelvis. Activate your hamstrings, stretch the fronts of the thighs forward, roll the inner thighs towards the ground. Stay here or press your hands down and bring the crown of your head to the floor. Maybe step the hands another inch or so apart. Draw the shoulders down your back. Maybe this is plenty. If your lower back has no strain, you might press off your hands and feet and then lift the head. Keep hugging the block to ensure you're keeping your thighs parallel and that you're hugging your hips towards your lower back. Think more of stretching your sternum towards the back wall and your tailbone towards the front wall. The arch in your back is going to happen naturally. When you're ready to come down, reverse the stages step by step. Top of the head lands on the floor, chin towards the chest, then lower upper back, middle back, tailbone. Rest when the pelvis comes down. Maybe roll out your hands, 3 breaths. For your last back bend, follow me again into upward facing bow or Urdhva Dhanurasana, or take your choice of back bend that you would rather practice. Might be bridge pose with the arms underneath, might be supported bridge with a block under your lower back. With or without the block this time, you choose. Upward bow practitioners, here we go. Flip your palms alongside your ears, elbows, shoulders width apart. Shoulder blades down the back, parallel feet. Lift your pelvis, breathe. Crown of the head to the floor. Shoulder blades down the back. Press off hands and feet and lengthen. Sternum towards the back wall, relax your neck. Tailbone towards the front wall. If your hip flexors are feeling pretty open, you might straighten your legs here. If your shoulders are feeling pretty open, you might lower your elbows to the floor and practice forearm Dhanurasana. 5 or so breaths, and take the stages in reverse to gently lower onto your back. And this time when you come down onto your back, please step your feet apart, wider than your hips distance. Then drop both knees together to touch. Bend your elbows apart like a cactus shape. Then cross your left elbow over the right into eagle arms. Hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms for a counter posture for your shoulders. So let the shoulders keep sliding down the back. Press your forearms towards the sky, lengthening your neck. Notice any part of your body that's really asking for your attention right now, if any. Maybe visualize breathing into that area. And if there's discomfort or pain, breathing in the direct experience of it for you and maybe someone else may have a similar discomfort or suffering. And then breathing out, invite the relief of that for you and for someone else. Tonglen practice. Open up the elbows back to cactus arms and switch the cross of the elbow on top into Garudasana, eagle arms. Notice what might feel different here. Then bend your right knee into your chest. Please grab your strap. You might want to use it. Step the ball of your right foot into the strap. Prepare for a twist. Extend your right leg up. Extend your left leg on the ground. And hold the strap in your left hand. Open your right arm out to the right on the floor. Keeping the right shoulder down, begin to twist to your left. Send your right outer hip towards the front edge of your mat to bring support and release into your lower back. 3 more breaths here. Slowly lift your right leg towards the ceiling and hold the strap in your right hand, or clasp your right big toe with your right peace fingers. Press your left hand on the top of your left thigh, keeping the back of your left hip on the ground. Turn out your right thigh at the hip, then slowly open your right leg out to your right side, only to the degree that the back of your left hip stays on the floor. Supine, hand to big toe pose, or Supta Uttita Hasta Padangusthasana. Slowly lift your right leg up. Bend your right knee into your chest. Maybe lift the head and shoulders and just give your right leg a little squeeze before you set the right leg on the floor. Bend your left knee into your chest. If you have a strap, step the ball of your left foot into it. Extend your left leg up Hold the strap in your right hand, preparing to twist. Open your left arm out to the left and ground that shoulder and begin to twist to your right side. Roll your left outer hip slightly towards the front edge of your mat to help traction and release tension from your lower back. 3 more breaths. Slowly roll onto your back, lifting your left leg upright. You can choose to use the strap with your left hand or clasp your left big toe with your peace fingers of the left hand. Place your right hand on the top of your right thigh. Keep the back of your right hip on the floor and rotate your left thigh at the hip to turn out. Then open the left leg slowly to the left. Bring your left leg back to your chest, bending the knee, maybe lift the head and shoulders. Give your left leg a little squeeze, a love squeeze. And then bend both knees into your chest, gently rocking in any direction or circling the legs together and apart. Maybe coming into happy baby pose if you like. So take your choice of inversion, relaxing inversion, so not headstand, that's an energizing inversion. Either supported shoulder stand in which you step your feet on the floor and place your lower back onto a prop like a block, flat part of the lower back, and then lift the legs up. Or if you normally practice it and are free of neck injuries, shoulder stand. You might like to use a folded blanket about a foot inward from the rear edge of your mat. The smooth part of the fold is facing the rear of the mat. And then you land your shoulder heads about 1.5 inches inward from that smooth fold of the blanket. Arms close to the side ribs, you lift the pelvis, walk in the elbows. Legs can go overhead and plow, halasana, or you can go straight up, and if so, really try to stack ankles, pelvis, shoulders, tilting the chin back. You want to be mindful in shoulder stand, not flatten the back of your neck on the ground. That's how the blanket can be useful to help maintain the natural curve in your neck. Salamba Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. Known as the queen of asanas. Many health benefits. Stimulating blood flow and digestion. You might go into halasana plow as you're lowering from shoulder stand. If you're using a block, step your feet on the ground, gently remove the block. We're all gonna meet lying flat on our backs with the legs forward for fish pose. I remembered. Is it coming for fish? Legs on the floor, feet together but relaxed. Place your palms face down under your pelvis so that your thumbs touch each other. Press your palms, forearms, and elbows into the floor and lift your chest, tilt your chin back. Whatever your degree, some might bring the top of the head to the floor, others may not. And take 5 deep inhales, fill up lungs and belly, and clearing exhales through the mouth, maybe lion's breath. cleansing through the exhalations on your own. Once you're done with Mayurasana, fish pose, gently lower your back to the ground, slide your arms out from under, and begin to place your body into a comfortable position. Relax in stillness in for 5 minutes of Shavasana. Closing your eyes when you land in that stillness pose, in that corpse pose. Sense the feeling of completely letting go of effort in the muscles of your body, softening them. Feel the muscles in your face relax too, in your palms, in your feet, in your abdomen, in your glutes. Feel a sense of letting go of effort in your breathing as well. Just trusting how your body naturally receives and releases each breath. Shavasana. Feel into your physical state, energetic state, mental and emotional state. And be gentle with yourself, not rushing. Start to move small parts of your body, like gently turning your head or rubbing your thumbs across your fingertips. Moving whatever part of your body gently wants to move into a stretch. You might slowly turn to your right side as you're beginning to lift your body upright towards a comfortable seat. Just like we bring mindfulness, attentiveness to how we transition from posture to posture in Vinyasa flow, here is an opportunity to practice that. From corpse pose to what's called easy pose or Sukhasana, taking your comfortable seat. As we sit for the next 5 minutes in meditation, a silent meditation, choose how you'd like to meditate. What I'd invite for you to practice is what we've been practicing our last 2 classes, Tonglen, which is natural inhale, feeling any point of discomfort or suffering you currently or have recently experienced for you and someone else who might be on the same boat. And as you naturally breathe out, offering yourself and that other person relief. sensing the effects of your practice, asana yoga, dharana or concentration yoga, dhyana or meditation yoga, and pranayama or breathing yoga. You might join your palms to meet at your heart and remember the intention that inspired your practice today, and the offering you may have made for someone else to enjoy its benefits from afar. Now let's seal this practice, joining our voices in one Om. Take a deep breath in. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.